So, uh, this was sent to me. Well, actually, I was tagged into this, and so I wanted to look at this. They killing. I mean, this is nice, but I kind of wanted to bring this up because I think it's beautiful in the fact that, first of all, if you don't know, this is in the Bahamas. But I think it's beautiful in the fact that the art form continues to move in different areas and different spaces. You know, so let me backtrack for a second. I remember a time when like USVI people from the U.S. Virgin Islands was like really big in certain schools or whatever. I know that there were not too long ago a couple that were at Jackson State. I don't know if there still are. I know that when I was marching, a lot of them were at Norfolk State. So shout out to Charlotte O'Malley in St. Thomas. Shout out to St. Croix Central High School in St. Croix, and then St. Croix Complex and obviously St. Croix, because a lot of those kids, those were a lot where we were getting a lot of students from, and I know that that's where also those kids were dispersing from. Um, but I find it very interesting now because there's been in the last, I want to say maybe 10 to 15 years, a nice big push from the Bohemian culture to be in a lot of our schools, man. I know that we had a big influx at Prairie View. And then I know that during that time there was also a couple at Bethune, so on and so forth. So I'm pretty sure that they've been spread around in a lot of places. But what I think is pretty dope is the fact that not only are they're not only are they in these spaces, but they're also taking it back home and producing what you really basically see here. Um, and I think that's a beautiful thing, right? I really find it dope in the fact that whatever we define the culture is, because let's be very clear, I don't think the culture in and of itself is fully defined. I believe that we know what we think it looks like, right? But there are so many different variations of it that I don't think that we've necessarily defined a specific type of the culture. And are there subcultures of said culture, right? And so what I mean is the culture within itself a very big broad brush, and then the subcultures are when we start defining what some of the paint colors look like, right? So if I say, Norfolk has a style, Southern has a style, and Bethune has a style, right? I just use those three as an example. Those are subcultures of the full culture. And so, I when I think about when we have the conversation as far as what the culture is, I don't know if it's specifically defined, but whatever we look at it as, I think it's a great thing that it's going into so many spaces and it's seeing so many spaces. I like the fact that the spaces that it's in, the people look like us. But there's also the areas in the Philippines where you see those young kids, the dancers, I think, pattern themselves off of J sets, and the drum majors pattern themselves off of J5. I remember not too long ago, well, actually, it was long. It had to be about 20 years ago. I want to say it was some area in, I want to say it was Mexico. It could have been somewhere else where they had a band that was killing at the time. May have been 20 or 30 years ago, maybe. But I really believe, and I think this is the good thing this is the good part of, I believe, in what social media does. It allows people to be able to see and be a part of a culture and gravitate to a part of a culture in which they never probably would have gravitated before, and found a way to hone it in and make it their own. Now, granted, a lot of the Bohemian people, the Bohemian students or kids were in marching bands, and they took that information and they brought it back home, which I think is great too. But I'm not necessarily against the culture being spread. I think I think where I end up having the biggest issue is the fact that when we start talking about when people start making it seem as though they created it, right? And that's kind of where the slippery slope happens. If you can acknowledge where you got or where you can't got the culture from or where you got this specific style from, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like when you, I don't know if anybody's ever done it, but if you go look at the drum majors from the Philippines, they continuously give love and props to J5, and they say that they pattern themselves off of J5, and so I don't think that's a bad thing. But again, these Bohemians is killing. They are absolutely killing. You know what would be dope? If somebody would sponsor them, I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. If somebody would sponsor them to come down and do like a little mass band joint, that would be dope. Because it looks like they got a lot of participants. And not to mention the fact that, again, a lot of Bohemians are in these specific bands. So just imagine if you get all these Bohemians that's in these other bands. You maybe got some at Southern, you may got some at Jackson, you may have some at Alabama State, you may have some at Prairie View, you may have some that's at North Carolina Central, like everywhere. And then they put together a mass band and they come down from one of the big mass band events and they crank up. I think that would be dope. I don't know. What's your thoughts? But well, on the mass band part. But again, I think that this is great, man. I think they're actually killing, and I ain't got nothing negative to say. Let's just say that this is a more positive Luke's band report, and we gotta have these every now and then, right? Like, you know, the job is always to make sure that we're getting all the information out there, all the news that, you know, music education band and all that kind of stuff that comes out. But we got to give some of the good stuff too, and I definitely think this is one of the good ones. So you guys tell me in the comment section, man, what you guys think about the Bohemians out here killing it? And apparently this was during New Year's, so this I'm pretty sure this video is pretty old at this point. But still, man, what do you guys think about the, you know, Bohemians out there killing, or just anybody from anywhere, you know, doing what we do and doing it at a high level? I don't think this is bad at all, man. So you guys tell me inside the comment section. Don't forget, you can stop by our store and get anything you want, shirt or whatever, put it inside the cart, and you get 30% off your purchase. And all you got to do is type in HBCU band. That's how you get 30% off your purchase. Also, don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be having Talk That Talk. We will be live on Talk That Talk. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff this week. Also, I will be going live on Friday. So if you want to be in for that, if you want to get in on that, man, y'all stop by Friday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'll be on for about an hour, man. So we can come through, chop it up with me, man. We're going to be talking about everything that you can possibly think of. So outside of that, man, go ahead. Tell me what you guys think about this inside the comment section, man. Give me all your thoughts outside of that. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.